You're gonna if you're doing things for coding, then Claude is where it's at for sure. But ChatGPT uses a lot of reasoning because it needs to reason like, oh, does this listing matches users constraints, and that's like logical things. And when I used to Gemini for that, it was not good for logical things. Uh, for and OpenAI's model is the best for logical things. So
Gotcha. So you met with that UX person the other day. Explain.
oh, my friend.
Yeah, I want to know that whole interaction. You explained briefly, but I want to know like how he or she
I didn't.
found the app.
You're gonna laugh. I mean, I didn't meet with her. It was actually, I just called her. It's so, you're gonna laugh because she was actually, so that's the girl I was talking to that didn't work out.
Oh,
and and she's a design student. So I was like, oh, we could be friends, but since you're a design student, can you review my app?
dude, you're SF coded. You should just move to SF at this point. This is like what the dating scene in SF looks like.
And she was like, sure. And then she didn't reply to me for like a week and a half. And then she finally replied yesterday.
After reviewing for a week.
No. She just didn't. No, when I told her that she just didn't reply,
Okay.
I was like, oh, we could be friends, but like, I have this app if you can you review it, blah blah. And then she was like, yeah, like a one letter yeah, and that's it. And I was like, oh, she's probably not gonna do it. And then like a week and a half goes by. She's like, oh, sorry, I've been working on other projects, but like, I could review it. And then she gave me like a feedback paragraph yesterday and stuff like that.
Cool. Very professional. Are you dating on LinkedIn by any chance?
And then I fixed it, and then I sent it to her as a feedback, and she's like, yeah, it's much better. And I was like, you want to go to the beach?
Okay. Okay.
And
Interesting.
then she left me on red.
Valid. Okay. So, what were some feedbacks that you thought were constructive from her?
Yeah, I think it was the biggest thing. Kind of like we noticed yesterday. No, not yesterday. You and I were talking like last week, and we noticed that like people weren't requesting tours, and it was funny because like literally the first form of feedback was that like the listing page has no information, right? Um, which makes sense because when we first built ChatGPT, it was just for to direct users to Zillow, right? So we didn't have to put that much information because users would go directly to Zillow, and then and then we like, okay, let's request tours. Let's do what Zillow does, and obviously, and we didn't change anything on any UI or anything. We didn't change any of the functionality, um, so it makes sense why people wouldn't request tours. So like, yeah, so this morning or last night and this morning, I try to include as much information as possible, like all the features of the building, the unit, and stuff like that. So hopefully that helps with the tour request, but we'll see. Um, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like we solve like the search problem where like it's we're getting streams of searches, but like the conversion is not really there yet.
Yeah. Bi- um, on the topic of extracting all this information and putting it on our platform, uh, we are basically recreating a lot of the listing pages that other real estate platforms like Zillow and apartments.com have in
Yeah.
terms of showing the amenities and stuff like that. And these are things that we're realizing we need to show because it's helpful. These people that are looking for apartments need to see these things. But at the same time, to what extent are we recreating what our
Oh,
competitors
yeah.
do?
I was thinking about this the other day. I think there's two routes to go here. One route is to actually become a listing agency, like like Zillow and apartments.com. Um, but then if we do that, we have to do everything they do plus more, right? We have to do listing, the agent stuff, connecting renters with agents and stuff like that. We have to do that, and we have to do the whole search engine thing. So we have to do both things, the whole natural language search engine thing, or and that at the same time, because now we're competitor to that. Or the other route is to be to be just completely tech focused and do and just be a search engine that operates on top of like all the listing platforms like Zillow, Apartments.com, Craigslist, Domo. Like we aggregate everything and then we become a search engine on top of it. And then we focus on just that and then we direct users to the appropriate website. So that's just I think that's so we, right now I think we're going the listing route where we're basically a I don't want to say brokerage because I don't want to get sued, but like we're basically like a listing platform, but like
Like an aggregator, you mean?
no. Right now, we're taking the route of being our own listing platform, where
Mm.
we where we show what's available for rent, and then we have like our own agents that's working towards us, and then we're not really going the route of the aggregator, where we are a tech platform, where our only job is to make the search engine really good and sit on top of the other
Gotcha.
platforms. So like, there's like apartments.com, there's Zillow, Redfin, all that. The second option is to become a search engine on top of those 5 or 10 platforms, and
Hmm.
then and then and then route users to the correct thing. Um, only thing with the second part is that, like is no clear way to make money from that. If you're just routing
Uh,
people to different websites, and unless you get acquired by one of those
yeah.
things.
So what do you think should be indicators for us other than vibes about which route we should be taking? Either focus on like being like a search engine but redirects, um, or just stick to listing.
I know it was hard. I was thinking about this a lot yesterday. Um, I think it depends. I think ideally, like becoming a listing platform is the right vision long term because like that way you own all the data, right? If you're just a search engine, unless those companies want to work with you directly, they can easily do something to, and then you lose all the data. Like then, and then you have no value now, because like,
Hmm.
you're basically relying on being able to get data from Zillow, being able to get data from Apartments.com, being able to get data from these platforms. Um, so I think the biggest thing is you don't own the data if you're just a search engine, unless somehow the these big platforms are like, oh, this platform is cool, we'll give you data the right way through an API instead of scraping, and
Yeah.
then maybe we'll charge a subscription service or something for like these platforms to work with us. But I don't I don't know if they're gonna want to do that. But like I don't know. I mean, what do you think?
That is interesting. That's a very uh, more B2B approach versus than a B2C if we're charging listing platforms and then we can become the main search engine for all of these places. And that could also be effective actually if we think about how to make money. We can think about a business model that's more related to a search engine, ranking the results, sponsored posts. But when I go on Zillow right now and I look for apartments, there are still sponsored posts. The I live in Pittsburgh, and when I look at apartments in Pittsburgh, there's a lot of these giant apartments that have ad money that pay Zillow to appear first, and it says sponsored, so you know that they paid to be up there, and then you see the actual other listings that appear. So there is a market to be had there, and we could make money if enough people start using chat-apt as a search engine instead of just going straight to those websites.
Yeah.
Um,
I think the value here would be to be like a really good aggregator, like a really good natural language aggregator, because like it's like Theo ended up finding an apartment, but he found it through Craigslist, and I mean Craigslist. Why is it echoing? Yeah, I mean it's still not really. I mean, in both cases they're both B2B. Um, if we are a listing platform, if we're just a listing platform, we would our clients will still be landlords and agents. So and then our product, I mean, our product would be people searching, right? Um, so we're still B2B. We're building like we're building up the product, which is people searching, and we're selling it to landlords and agents. Uh, if we're just a tech company that just is just a search engine sitting on top of other platforms, it will still be um, it will still be B two B, right? I mean, they're both B two B, I think, but like the product is still the people searching, right? So our product is we're building a product right now, which is getting people to use the platform, and the people become the product, and then we're kind of selling the product to people to like landlords, agents, or like
yeah,
Zillow.
I think when it comes to B2, when it comes to the search engine experience, we're more focusing then on results. But when we are focusing on what we're doing right now, which is listings, we're focusing on the user experience on our page o- overall, not just for results.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So like right now we have to solve two problems. We need to make sure the results are good, the search engine is good, and we need to make sure that we can um, find tours for people, right? So we're doing two things. So yeah, so I don't think the core business changes. I think it's still B2C and B2B, both of them. Because even the business models for both of them is going to be B2B. Um, even
yeah,
if we're an ad platform, they're still B2B. You know,
yeah,
because what do you want to focus on? So like, if you focus on just search, like we can focus on just search and then I think our metrics should be good because if we just double down on search, which is what we're doing really well right now anyway. But the key would be like to become a good search engine platform on top of all the possible. Like that means like Zillow, Promise.com, Domu, Craigslist, um, Facebook Marketplace, but like being able to find the ones that are not scams on Facebook Marketplace, Reddit, um, like being able to normalize all these things and then make them searchable in natural language.
currently, what are we using to
Search.
like just Zillow? And you said you're building the feature to be able to list directly, right?
Uh, that's not built yet. Because I've been trying to focus on the tour thing, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's kind of getting overwhelming where I don't really know what to build anymore because there's so much. I'm just like okay, let me just take a step back and pick a direction and then just like go to that direction. 'Cause- You know what I mean? Like not a direction that's gonna be like super hard to do.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What about listing the subleases? Is that still in the pipeline?
Yeah, so that would still be part of the search engine. So wherever the sublease comes from, uh,
Ah,
I'm, you know what I mean.
got it.
So we can also like list things like we don't have to pull from like apartments.com or Zillow. We can also list things, I guess.
Okay, interesting. Um,
But then if you're listings, then how would that work? Is the thing. If we don't support tours anymore, how would that work?
Yeah, I think you were asking this weekend, do I prefer B2B or B2C model? And from a marketing perspective, it's easier to market to B2C, except if you're Cluely, which they do B2B, and then they're still silly and they can still sell to other companies, which is kind of outrageous. But for us, in my world, that's not how it works. If you build an API company that's supposed to be serving other corporations, they will not take you seriously if you're doing dances on TikTok
I
or if
think
you're.
I think Cooley has a secret plan. Cooley is B2B right now, but they're definitely trying to be B2C in the next 5, 10 years because they're trying. Like if you look at their demo, the first video they ever put up, it was literally some random dude at a restaurant trying to get a date. I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to bring like a AI, like consumer AI to everyone, where like on some like where like the vision is like Tony Stark, like Iron Man situation.
I believe they have a B2C because when they were showing their revenue, they were showing a bunch of like $5 payments, and then the big $100,000 payment came in, which was their B2B order. So I guess some people want to check it out for the hype, but I don't know why people would pay. I don't know. Still a mystery what this company does. Um, if marketing is silly, do you think that people are gonna take chat-apt seriously, or should they even take chat-apt seriously?
If what,
If our marketing is silly,
like what we have now.
yeah,
I was also thinking about it the other day. Like, I think people laugh at the videos, but I'm like, 'cause for example, the golf thing that you put was funny, and I was looking at the comments, but then I don't know if and maybe people will laugh, but then I don't know if people actually understood the relation to ChatGPT. You know what I mean? Because
yeah,
ChatGPT was like a second of the video,
yeah.
and with like a 10-second video. So I was thinking, I was like, are we um maybe just are we on some Cluely shit where like like we're just making videos just to make videos and not really target it at the audience or like no
Yeah,
action.
yeah. That's the thing with ChatGPT is that um, before I started making videos and like taking into consideration packaging in general, I was just focusing on each video needs to do everything at once. Each video needs to be high view earning. Each video needs to inform of a person of a brand or like whatever the person is discussing, and each video needs to lead to conversion, meaning each video needs to have a person go check out what I'm talking about. But now with platforms like Instagram and TikTok, where people's attention span is really small, you kind of realize when you're looking at someone's video, each video doesn't convey the entire thing of what the person is discussing. So you look at someone like MKBHD, for example, and when he's talking about something in the video doesn't entirely convert you to go check out what he's doing on YouTube, or doesn't convert you to go check out what he's selling on his merch platform. He's talking about one topic, but in your head, because you recognize MKBHD because he posts everywhere, you recognize the brand. So sometimes I feel like sometimes my strategy with ChatAPT is some videos need to be optimized more to gain views, and other videos need to be optimized more for conversion, and other videos need to optimize more for what we're doing in the background, so that you can also get brand trust out of us. Like today, I posted a video, and I was just posting updates that you posted last week on the website, everything you worked on, right? If a person stuck throughout the whole video, it's like a little bit funny, so that like you can stay and watch a little bit. But for the most part, it's more like informing and getting brand trust if you cared and if you watch us enough. But the golf video, that was more like just pure viewership. And you're right, it did appear for 1 second only. I was more working on the timing of the beat of how the comedic aspect will be delivered. But sometimes it's like it's hard to manage everything at once. So sometimes you just have to focus on this video means that thing, and that video is focused on the other thing. It's done less intentionally, uh, yeah, sometimes some ideas just come as they come. It's not everything's like super
Yeah,
purposeful.
yeah, and then if you frame it that way, that makes a lot of sense. Um, now that I think about it, I can kind of see, yeah, like today's video was like not as silly, but like more informative. Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense. That makes sense.
But for a platform like ours, users are trying to find their next home. We are also trying to see whether people trust this website, trust when they are on chat-apt, whether they can request a tour and they can be trusted. We can be trusted with their information and whatnot. Do you think that us having this demeanor on the internet can still have them be like, you know what? Still, I'll give them my credentials.
I mean, yeah, for sure.
Like, would you give your credentials to someone who's building like that?
Credentials isn't like username and password.
Username, password. You're signing up to go visit something. You see a real estate agent's number, or even like a real estate agent wanna put their face on our platform, on their listing and stuff.
I don't think the our I don't think us being silly would be a negative, um, because our site is good. You know, you go on our site, you try it on, it works. You know, it's kind of like magical sometimes too. So like, unless you're a idiot, I'm kidding. um, like, I mean, the work speaks for itself. You know what I mean? So like, um, I think people trust a site that's good more than what they post on the internet.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of brands currently are pretty silly on the internet. Like Duolingo, for example,
Yeah, that is true.
it's pretty silly.
Actually, they didn't used to be silly, but they really tripled down on the silliness, and they even their marketing kind of influenced the product, because now the product, the owl, will give you angry notifications that you stopped, and the logo changes if you haven't been like doing your streaks or whatever. So they kind of reversed it, which is amazing.
Yeah, and people love Duolingo. So
Yeah,
I think the sillier the better. You know,
yeah.
if like as long as your product works good, that's what people are gonna trust. Um, Theo give me texted me the other day. Let me see what he said. Because Theo was actually in the Theo was actually in the place for an apartment. That's why he was using ChatAPT.
Oh, awesome.
He just recently signed the lease. Unfortunately, not with ChatAPT, but
No.
he said, "I'm signing a lease today." And I'm like, "How did you find this?" And he said, "Craigslist. If you have a good set of filters on Craigslist to filter out the spam, you often end up with good deals, not on Zillow, and it's less competitive. And it's easier to get the lease."
Hmm.
So that's what he said, and then before that, what did he mention? Also, it would be sick if you include multiple sources. I'm assuming it's Zillow right now, right? Um, yeah. So I think the importance of multiple sources is coming up a lot. Um, I've also had people on Reddit like send me like links to the website, like show me the rent, for example. Or just show me the rent. Show me the rent. There's a website where I don't know who built this, but like it shows you a lot of listings not on Zillow, and
Does Craigslist and anything other than Zillow, do they have ways to retrieve information from their website without scraping?
I mean scraping is just like using bots to get information. You can scrape any website.
Yeah, but you know how on Facebook, for example, Meta platforms, scraping is illegal. And if we're trying to
Yeah,
convert
yeah,
this,
yeah. Stripping is illegal.
hold on. This is not a hackathon anymore. If we're actually trying to make this into a legit business, and we're actually taking people, we're actually taking information as a company from another corporation, we could get sued. So
Fun fact. You know Trulia?
no,
You don't know Trulia?
no.
Trulia is another listing platform. Um, they could have started around the sense they were like after Zillow, but like it's pretty popular. It's like another listing platform, and they started by scraping.
And then where are we now in terms of like
I think Zillow bought
techno?
them out,
Oh, okay.
but like I mean, right now technically we're scraping Zillow. You didn't know that?
I thought we were using the API.
The API scripts Zillow. The API is a third. The Zillow does not have an API. This
I
thing,
did request access to the API actually, and they rejected my request.
you can request access to the API.
Yeah, I requested access, and then I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna use it to make YouTube videos," and they're like, "Yeah, rejected. This you're lame."
No, Zillow,
Um,
I mean, I don't know if Zillow has an API or maybe you have to request, but like, there's a third party API. I don't know if they're working with. I mean, the third party API says that it's not affiliated with Zillow. I'm not sure how it gets all the information so quickly. I don't know. Whoever built this is a genius, but like, um,
wow, interesting.
they basically. I mean, on the website on the front page it says this is not affiliated with Zillow. I don't know if they scrape it. I don't know if they have. Maybe they have a license with Zillow. I don't know, but like they get information like really quickly. Like
You know what? Then I think scraping is the answer. Just scrape whatever you want. Like we'll figure it out after a few lawsuits, I guess. Uh,
so scraping is not illegal. If eh, scraping data that is public is not illegal.
okay.
They're gonna try to paint it that it's illegal. It's not illegal. As long as it's public information, right? It's not hidden behind like an author or anything.
Ah, okay, okay, interesting. Well, with Facebook, that can become a problem because usually listings are hidden in a group. So,
We don't have to script Facebook because half of the listings on Facebook are scam anyway. We could probably just do that manually. One and number two, we can make like I think there's another thing where like being tech enabled is so powerful because we can make agents to go and find the listings on on Facebook.
uh huh.
Um, we can make like I can make like an AI agent that could just maybe like you take a screenshot of a listing or something, and then it'll find it. Or to remove the scam, we can make an agent that finds a listing on Zillow, messages the person who posted that listing, and then tries to have a conversation with that person to see if it's a scam or not. And then doing an analysis on it, and if it's a scam, it won't post it on chat-apt, but if it's not, it'll post it on chat-apt. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so like I think with current AI technology, we can do a lot of this like automatically.
Okay. Interesting.
It's just, yeah. So like if we veer into like this path of like being a really good search engine on top of all the fragmented mess out there,
Yeah.
I think it could be a good platform.
Actually, my sister-in-law, she got scammed on a sublease, and she sent like a down deposit of like a few thousands, and then when she reached the address, there was no one there. There was no
Really?
key, and she had to find a place to live.
Why did she tour before she thing?
She was in a rush, and she was still like first year or second year of college, so she made like a impromptu decision. I would like to maybe ask her what were some things that should have been like dead giveaways about her whole scheme.
Mm.
Okay. Someone else in our comment section, speaking of lawsuits, said that Zillow will sue us because we're using the word Zillow on our website, on our searches and stuff. Um,
Did, did, that I think that's so stupid because this is not a new marketing thing. People always doing Uber for this, Uber for that, this for this, Uber for that, right? Even YC is like, oh, like on YC, if you go on the YC company directories, half of it is like this for that, right? I mean, Uber for this for that, and none of them have been sued. So like that's such a baseless claim.
That guy had so much confidence in the comments. I'm so sad that you logged in and you responded because I just read that comment. I was like, "Ah, he's so lame." And then, and then you went and asked,
No,
"Why do you?"
I wasn't gonna respond, but I just kept thinking about it. It just kept irking me. This guy. And then at first, when I typed in first was like, what's up with all the yapping? And then I deleted it. I was like, that's not very professional.
Okay, well, if he actually stuck around and checks out everything that we push out and sees this, shout out to because he's a photographer actually.
Shout out to him. I checked out his page. You have cool photography, bro. But but number
But keep
one,
your comments to yourself.
number one, if Zillow does come, that's a good problem. You know, more marketing. Imagine it's just like, oh, we're gonna sue these team of two people, one with no hair and one with a full beard.
Right. That's how identifiers. I love it.
they're gonna,
um,
they're gonna like that's gonna bring in so many more users to our platform. Number one, so it's like,
okay.
what's do yapping about?
All right. Yeah, and if Zillow recognizes us, at least we know that we're not getting acquired because they saw us and we're like, yeah, fuck off. um, any any updates you want to discuss about in-flight features or bug fixes what you're working on or any issues you've seen users throughout the past week you want to talk about?
Any uh, any insights and stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, I think the biggest one is what I just talked about, like the two different paths we can take, right?
Hmm.
That I mentioned. That's probably the biggest realization that I had last week. But yeah, I mean, the biggest thing we're trying to solve, like last week, was the trust.
Do you think that's still a work in progress? The uh, uh, working on users' trust.
Yeah, I think I feel like it's not gonna happen overnight, and I'm not really gonna really sure how to make that happen. Yeah, I mean, we
Yeah,
can talk more offline about what direction we want to take, but like,
yeah. But on the marketing aspect, I think I like to give a weekly reminder of internally what we're working on, what we're discussing, because most of the times people are not clicking on these long podcast videos unless they only see the clips that I post on Instagram,
mhm.
and that's yeah. I think trying to communicate in a short format what we're about, what's going on in the background.
Yeah, I mean, the tweet features wasn't besides the new things on the listing page. I think you summarized a lot of it, but like, I mean, there was a lot of background like fixes that I did. Like, I get an email every time a user can't find a listing. Um, and early this week there was a lot of thinking, but then but I fixed those. Like for example, like the move-in date wasn't being set properly,
Yeah.
and a couple other things. So just a couple of background things. I've also noticed that like a lot of listings are being searched multiple times. A lot of queries are being searched multiple times. So that can mean that somebody searches something and it comes back the next day and, and refreshes it, come back the next day and refreshes it, meaning they're recurring users. Or that can mean that like multiple people have the same queries, which is unlikely that you're typing the same exact thing as somebody
Yeah.
else. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, so I think one thing I need to do this week is just figure out the recurrent users. Um,
that haven't logged in, right?
Yeah, it was just hard to do because you don't have an ID. Um,
What do other platforms do? Do they like how do they record a session ID of a user without them logging in? I know like some platforms we can even do that if you're on incognito.
I mean, a lot of, I mean, I guess there's some fingerprinting you can do, like on your device, like your IP address and stuff like that, or like your device ID and stuff like that. But that's not very, it's not very accurate because like, if I search something on my computer, then I search it on my phone, I'm the same person, but that will show us two different people,
Right.
right? Or if I search it on, if I have one Chrome profile open and another Chrome profile open, it'll probably be different.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really, it's not very accurate. Um, there's something you can do to detect that, but like, I mean,
Okay. Anything in flight this week in terms of features or anything that users can interact with that that they should be looking forward to?
we're shutting down. No, I'm kidding. Uh, I mean, beside the amenities thing that I just pushed today, um, probably that should work fine now because I know it was having issues in the morning, so I fixed that, but like, it should work fine now. Maybe more work around there, but like, I mean, maybe we might go back to the continue on Zillow, um, instead of request tour, and and you might see more, might see more listings from other sources than just Zillow.
Okay. And
We could talk more offline about it, but like that could be
and
something we could try to do this week and see how that works.
and would you be specifying to the user the source of the information before they click on? Because let's say there's like some listings coming from Zillow and some listings coming from Craigslist, and I don't want anything to do with Craigslist listings. So would
Oh, and
you
yeah, maybe you could exclude. Yeah, there'll probably be buttons like
not
exclude.
exclude, but more like just show on the listing that this comes from Zillow, this comes from
Yeah, for
Craigslist?
sure, for sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you'll have the source there. Um, the only thing that we would have to take care of in terms of tour might be a sublease, if or like a sublease or a listing that somebody posts themselves on our platform.
Hmm.
Then we might have we can tour we can figure out how to tour those our own, but like the rest might just be continued to that platform. You know,
Gotcha.
that way we're still giving that other platform business. We also have also kind of building our own business with the we're allowing people to upload on our platform.
Yeah, that sounds like honestly like a much simpler path right now, like less friction,
Yeah.
um, rather than focusing on the metric of requesting to book is what we should be looking as a conversion of success. So then we should be tracking. Uh, I guess that's a discussion offline, but how do we track users' success on our platform as an experience? Okay. Anyway, we'll talk about this later. That's good though. Um, Applying to startup programs. But I so both of us we have full time jobs, and it would be a dream to be able to focus on this full time. It would be even more of a dream to be able to get paid and work on this full time. Um, is there a value to working on this full time without any assurance that we're working on something valuable?
Of course. If we get funding, even if we do pivot, I mean the whole point of funding is I think is to be able to explore your creativity, right? Um, even if we do pivot, hopefully it's to pivot to something that works because we don't know if this is we're not gonna know if this is valuable for a long time, right? So I don't think it should be based whether we should quit our job based on whether it's valuable or not because that's not gonna be apparent. Even if we have a lot of searches now, it won't be apparent until a while. Um, so like what you're doing now is I mean is what you're doing now valuable? Like going to work, coming back. Like sure, it's valuable for the company, but is it valuable for you? Kind of.
It's valuable for my mortgage payment for sure.
Yeah. So what if you could make money and work on something that you think should exist in the world? That's valuable on
Yep.
its own.
Hmm.
You know.
Yep.
So that's what we're suggesting raising because like it's really hard to like focus on two things.
Yep.
Full-time job and this at the same time. Like I think I'm kind of getting burned out. Like,
Yeah, I've been thinking about quitting too recently. I'm actually talking to a startup tomorrow.
are they?
Yeah, it's a startup related to the same field that I work in, which is taxes.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm just talking to a CEO and then see if like they wanna like hire me or something while we're working on chat-apt. But I'm kind of tired of working at my previous job for sure. Burnt out as well. It's like there's no motivation in responding to people, honestly.
I mean, I'm not breakdown from my work. I mean, I don't. I think work is work. To be honest, like as long as you get paid, um, I'm burnt out from. I feel like no matter where I work, I'll probably. Oh, actually, I don't know. Maybe if I wasn't in insurance, but like, but like, I'm burnt out from just working on too many things. I feel like.
I see. Okay. Last thing that I want to show you today. I've been trying to find a way that we can make our platform less rigid, because marketing something like, oh, when you find a place, you can think about us, is very. It's not something that we can increase the frequency of visit or frequency of people caring about this unless they're looking for it. It's very functional, which in itself is good. At least we do have a purpose, we do have functionality, but I've been trying to figure out what is an element of fun that we can add on top of ChatGPT. And I used Replit to build a demo. So I'll show you a demo. You can see my screen.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I built a website that allows you to assign a song to a neighborhood, and that song isn't going to be. Hold on, let me see your reaction. That song isn't going to be something that like you put and it's static, but it's more like something that everyone has to vote on in a democratic process and agree that this is a song of a neighborhood. So let's say we go to Logan Square, okay? Logan Square, there's no song that has been picked out yet. I have to do some UI fix, like where the map goes, etc. But let's say you want Logan Square's song to be Finito, okay? All right. So you submit the song, and then you put your email. So now this is, because there's only one vote, this is the song of Logan Square. And it's the search engine is broken down by neighborhood, not city, because city is like too broad. I wanted to be a bit more specific so that people feel like they care. And you can only submit one song per neighborhood. Now, let's say someone else comes and they're like, I want the neighborhood song to be Espresso,
It's more
right?
it's more like it.
So then they come and they put Byron Torres at gmail.com, Espresso. And you can only have one submission per user. So then now there's a voting process. We're going to be putting people's choice, and people will come and they will vote either I want Finito to be Logan Square's anthem, or I want Sabrina Carpenter's Espresso to be an anthem. And I should add a button here, suggest another song, and then every person that comes in, they can choose with existing song lists that people put, or they can um, they can search their own thing. And whenever we finish deciding what each neighborhood's quote unquote anthem is going to be, we will be displaying that on chat-apt. So let's say you're looking for there's a database here. On the database, it'll show you what each neighborhood is connected to, and basically it'll break down what neighborhood has what anthem at the end of the day, neighborhood songs. So using this table, you can determine, okay, we determined that Logan Square was voted finito as like the anthem. We determined that Oakland, California was determined as whatever else song. And then also, because we have only one email per user, we're also collecting this. It becomes competitive a little bit. People will try to get their song out there for their neighborhood. And then we're also on our end collecting these emails so that we can update them, what's going on with chat-apt, send out newsletters, if anything, stuff like that. Yeah, thoughts about this?
So, you say we're gonna put it in chat-apt. Um, how do you envision like that being displayed in chat-apt? Like, would it be like a neighborhood section, or like how do you envision that to work there?
Yeah, so you know how when you show the information about this neighborhood, it's very Zillow like right now, very information based, real estate based, the price, square footing, insights, amenities, and stuff like that. This becomes more of a fun section. Oh, on this external marketing platform that's run by us, users have collectively determined that the song of this neighborhood is this song. And as a person looking for a rental place yourself, it can actually impact your decision. If you look at Logan Square and Finito by Chief Keef is the song that was voted, you're gonna be like,
Oh,
okay.
that's true. So, know what I know now? Actually, they may not be killing. If Logan Square would have probably been something like Espresso, I probably would have moved into Logan Square.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because I would understand the vibe. That's pretty
right.
cool. That's cool. I actually really like it. We could probably even have like some AI generated like um
Default choices.
yeah. So that if you go so if it shows the neighborhood in ChatGPT, it will have like what the AI thinks it is or something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, because we're thinking about doing a vibe score, right?
Yep.
Um, for like a neighborhood, like if you're like, oh, where should I live or something,
Mm-hmm.
and it shows the neighborhood, it can also display this as a, like part of the neighborhood profile.
Yep.
Like, you live in this neighborhood, here's why, and you probably like the song, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I like the idea. It's pretty cool.
Okay. I'm gonna try to finish it up. I built this using Replit. I know you recommended Lovable before, but
No, I
Replit.
recommend operative.sh.
But I
Operative.sh.
but Operative turned into B2B more. I don't know if you saw their
We're B.
interview.
We're B. We're B. We're the other B.
Uh,
There's B. And
B. Okay, yeah, that is true. They're gonna help us, I guess. Um,
I
but
feel like all the YC companies are becoming like consultants now.
I think that's the main gig, right? Consulting, B2B, just like easiest way to get a good MRR.
Well, actually, there's
Because
not really any cool consumer companies anymore. It sucks.
when I interviewed that guy whose startup, who had made a YC company and then it failed and they had to shut down a few months after YC, he was telling me, oh yeah, well, I'm getting sales and we have a few customers, but unless you're experiencing explosive growth, it doesn't make sense for you to keep running because you see other people in the batch having 10,000 MRR after 2 months of working, and you have like 500 MRR, and I'm like, you're still in the positive. If you think about it, you can still keep working and grow. People just don't know about you. It's a numbers game, but for them it was like, no. It From a YC perspective, this was not explosive. A startup is supposed to be.
Mm. But it takes time for. I mean, not all startups are explosive at the beginning, right? Some startups are trying to figure things out until they figure out that one thing like present the one critical mass, that the one not critical mass, the one inflection point in where they change one thing and then bam, they're like for example, like home, for example, right? I think the inflection point was like the daily stories that they did.
No, the sleep stories.
Sleep stories. There we
Yeah.
go. Right. So like it takes time to get to inflection point. Like just because you're not like exploding doesn't mean that like you're not worthy.
Yeah. I think that's the pressure of being under something like YC, I guess.
Um,
But anyway, I'll finish building that. I probably will have to get a domain that's kind of close to ChatGPT or related to ChatGPT, and also figure out some ways. I'll discuss with you how to lead people back to ChatGPT and include a lot of ChatGPT branding on the website.
does it make sense to add this into ChatGPT? Do you want it to be a separate platform?
Uh, it I would like it to be part of ChatGPT. It's just
We
I
can
mean, we
talk about
could,
how you want to build it. I guess
yeah,
we can talk about it offline. But like,
yeah, yeah.
um, yeah, what about it offline?
Cool. All right, that's it for the one main listener listening, Byron. That's it, Byron. All right.
All right, all right. Thanks, you, Byron. Thank you, Byron. See you next week.